Hey, it's your girl Yolanda over here at Forever Londa, and we're back here with another cooking video. Today we're going to try our hands at a totally vegan meal. This meal is appropriate to eat during the Daniel Fast. So I'm making spaghetti squash, however, I'm doing it in rings. So I am using my 2 fingers to measure out the width of the rings that I am going to serve, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut. Note to everyone, spaghetti squash can be difficult to cut, so make sure that you start with a very sharp knife. So I'm cutting the squash, and then I'm going to remove the sleeves, not the sleeves, the seeds, say it with me, remove the seeds, not the sleeves. After I've removed all of the seeds from the spaghetti squash, I will then go ahead and put the squash in a baking dish. I've lined my baking dish with parchment paper to make it so that it doesn't stick and to make it easier to come out. I then take some extra virgin olive oil and sprinkle each of the rings with the extra virgin olive oil. Be liberal in this particular part of the process because it gives it additional flavor, plus it allows the seasoning to adhere. So I'm using salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and a little bit of paprika. And because I'm using white salt, I do put the salt in my hands because I want to make sure I'm not over salting things. We are trying to make sure we're not using too much salt in the household. But I'll come back in a little while with more instructions as we continue to make this absolutely delicious vegan meal. My oven has been preheating at 350, and so I'm going to go ahead at this time and add the spaghetti squash into the oven and let it cook for about 40-45 minutes. For this particular recipe, I'm using cherry tomatoes. I've lined my baking dish with some foil, and I'm cutting the cherry tomatoes up and putting them in the baking dish. I like red onions for their flavor, and sometimes I will use yellow onions, but for this recipe, my choice of onion is the red onion. I'm going to cut them up pretty large. I like the texture, the feel of, in this recipe, I want chunky vegetables. I think it adds like that rustic quality to the meal that I'm looking for. So after I've cut up my cherry tomatoes and my red onions, I'm now going to go ahead and cut up some zucchini. So these vegetables, I'm using these vegetables to make my marinara sauce that we will be using for our spaghetti sauce, the sauce for our pasta, or in this case, the spaghetti squash. I am using white button mushrooms, and again, I'm not chopping them up fine. I want a very rustic feel, so very chunky cut up vegetables that I'm using. I'm also adding to this asparagus as well, and I'm going to then liberally spread olive oil on the vegetables and season them as well, and place them into the oven with the spaghetti squash. So here we go. Roasted vegetables alone, especially roasting them in the oven, are top tier when it comes to taste. However, I'm going still to add some additional flavoring. So here you see me adding garlic, and I'm going to season the vegetables with salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and some dried parsley. I think this adds that little extra oomph to the vegetables, and it'll help with seasoning the marinara sauce. By starting in the oven, it gives that slow roast, gives the vegetables extra flavor for the marinara sauce, and it's just chef's kiss in the taste. Try it next time. So now on to my marinara sauce. So I am cheating a little bit, and I'm starting with this jar product that I got from Aldi's. This product, however, does not have any additional additives added to it. It is just tomatoes and some seasoning. If you haven't already, the pepper trio from Publix is excellent. It comes frozen, and it does add a little extra help to cook, and it also prevents on waste. You can do the same. You can buy your peppers and things from the farmer's market, cut them up, and then put them in Ziploc bags and store them in the freezer. So I've drizzled my pan with a little bit of olive oil, added the pepper trio, and as they start to wilt down, I'm going to then add the jarred marinade sauce. And now I'm adding my vegetables. Well, as you can see here, they charred a little bit, which is great because this is where that flavor is going to come from to help us with this sauce. So I'm adding my oven roasted vegetables to my pan. I'm not getting all of the char off of the foil, but enough to kind of help with the flavoring of the sauce that I'm making. I now then add my jarred marinara sauce and some vegetable broth to the sauce. Here's a tip. I'm adding the veggie broth to the jar to make sure I get all of that delicious sauce out of it. And then I'm going to just add it to the other jar to make sure I get most of the sauce out of that as well. I'm going to let the sauce simmer. The longer, the better. At this time, the heat should be on low, and you can just let the sauce simmer as all those flavors come together. It just adds that additional flavor. So now I've taken my spaghetti squash out of the oven, and I'm going to now take a fork and just separate it. You see how that comes out? It's so satisfying as well, the feel as well when you're taking the fork to kind of separate it out. So this is what the spaghetti squash should look like after you have separated it from the skin. And I am going to use these as the base for my marinara sauce that I made. So now let's plate one of these up. I'm taking one of the spaghetti squashes up, and now I'm going to ladle some of the sauce in the center, add some salad, and that is a delicious vegan meal that you can have, something that's very filling. And for those of you who are either fasting from meat or you're decided to make a lifestyle change, you won't even notice that there's no meat in this dish. This is one of my family's favorite no meat meals, and something that we have frequently. And so I say, enjoy, go ahead and try this at home. Let me know in the comments if you're going to try it. And if you try it, come back and let me know what you think. This is your girl again, Forever Londa. And I say thank you for watching. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Bye-bye now. See you later.